Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday live stream. So before we get into it, jump in and talk about what Michael Saylor talked about on CNBC, and we talk about just the recovery. I want to give congratulations to everybody who stuck around after that, what I called a crash. And it was a crash. It was a crash yesterday. And I can tell you from talking to friends and family, a lot, and I mean a lot of people sold. And I can't blame them. So if you stuck around or if you did the brave thing, my personal opinion, the right thing, which was to actually buy that monstrous dip yesterday. Congratulations, because you did what you were supposed to do. It's not easy. And good job, everybody, for doing the things that are very hard for others to do. So let's jump into this. So today's the recovery day. We love these days. These are great, fantastic. We actually dipped below 2 trillion. Now we're up above. And who knows how long this is going to last. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, boys, it's up only. That's it, boys and girls. But in all honesty, it's anybody's guess. We could get some pretty massively bad prints. We could get some negative GDP news, some bad macro. World War III could break out. It's anybody's guess, right? Just appreciate the days that we have that are positive, and these are one of those days. I mean, Bitcoin's in 24 hours, and you already know this, 8%. Ethereum, 5%. One thing about, I was going to say this about BNB, which is looking pretty good, 7.5% and 14% for the week. One thing about Solana, over 7 days, and I talked about this yesterday, it was down 40% over 7 days, and it had the largest recovery. The thing that you have to remember, though, is just because you drop down 40%, if you recover 40%, you didn't make up much ground. Let's be honest, because you have to make additional gains to make up for those massive losses, right? So if you have $1,000, you go down 50%, you're at $500. If you go up 50%, you'll land at $750. But Solana had a pretty good recovery, just dropped a whole heck of a lot. I hope it goes up because I got a big bag and I'm super biased. Tencoin, 10%. Everything's up. Everything's happy. Everybody's great. We're good. So what happened yesterday? Well, we talked about it, and everybody talks about, Japan and the macro prints and unemployment and so on and so forth. And this is what happened. So if we take a look at the ETFs from yesterday, again, we still had a negative flow for the Ethereum ETFs, Grayscale being one of the culprits as usual. But I want you to notice something. Even yesterday, as bad as it was one of the lowest days that they actually dumped on us, which I thought was quite surprising. It's like maybe they want to wait to dump on us as the price goes up. I think people still believe in Ethereum, but we're still at a negative flow of looking like negative 462,000 for Ethereum. So as far as like the number, the total of Ethereum, not dollar amount, of course, we're down by quite a bit. And I was pleasantly surprised on that. And then yesterday we had talked about how the Bitcoin ETF did very well in the beginning when there was a report pre-market hours about how there was a massive inflow. However, I don't know if anybody's talked about this yesterday, but it wasn't really the case. As far as, and correct me if I'm wrong, today is August 6th. The Bitcoin flows that we saw, maybe these two little on HODL and BitB, the actual outflows was negative 3,148 Bitcoin. Total net flows. This is from heyapollo.com. You can check it out. This is the updated information that they have for August 5th, which was yesterday. However, now if we take a look at it as far as like total net flows, as far as negative and positive, it has always been positive. It is not like the Ethereum ETF. The Bitcoin flows, total net, has been positive since its inception. So that's good news, but I am actually a little bit surprised that there are people in this ETF going, we don't really want it. So before we get to the micro Saylor discussion, which was fabulous, by the way, there was one more piece, which is we have to take a look at the broader picture. And the broader picture includes our TradFi friends, as they are, and they did the smart thing yesterday, which was, well, the investors did, the institutional investors, is they bought massively. They bought the dip, and retail traders sold aggressively. So when we're thinking about things that are going on in the markets, just remember that the ones that usually get rich, I'm not going to say the smart money, although we'll just call it brave money or big money, because institutional investors, they bought it, and retail sold like crazy. If you're over on TradFi, negative 3% or 4% is the world is coming to an end. For us, that is a Tuesday afternoon, so good luck to that. Hopefully they can get their gains back. Here's what we got. So institutional investors bought the dip with, holy smokes, 14 billion in net buying. Now, what I'm not talking about the crypto market, I'm talking about the macro markets, or excuse me, the traditional finance markets. And I'd just take a cue from this when you start to think about, like, who does a really good job? Is it institutions or is it retail? Retail still sucks at this. There is a strong demand for the S&P ETFs. JP Morgan indicated by a 430 or $500 million inflow into the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, SDPR S&P 500, and iShares Core S&P 500 ETF. In contrast, retail investors were significant sellers of NASDAQ. Fixed income ETFs also saw bearish flows led by TMF and SPDR. And this is from strategists, probably in Bloomberg or something. We estimate retail investor performance has declined by 10% since the peak in U.S. equities as of today, versus 8.5% drop in the S&P. Year to date, their portfolio is down by almost 5%. And it just goes to show you, time in the market is more important than timing the market. So if you don't know what to do, just don't do nothing. Just sit around and wait for it. The reason why I'm so successful is I'm not that smart. Just let things happen. And usually it works out okay. I'm not too rash. I kind of keep my head above me. And this is what we got. So let me just think about that. Now let's jump into the interview. This was a great interview. I question Michael Saylor sometimes because I have these questions and I understand where he's coming from, but I do learn a good amount of information from him as far as what Bitcoin is, macro environment, and where we are going. This was an excellent interview. And this was actually put up, this is on CNBC, but it's from Bitcoin, the YouTube channel. And I linked that in the description. You can check it out. And there was like 3 or 4 pieces that we're going to go over. And the question really comes down pretty much hot and heavy, which is, I love this first question, which was like, look, we had a sell-off. It looks like there's some people that are selling off. It looks like there's a little bit of rebound. What's next? What's next for Bitcoin? And this piece right here it's about a minute or so long. And he does a great job of just kind of laying out the big picture and where we are going next. So I want you to take a listen to this. Let me make sure that you can actually hear this perfectly in crystal clear audio.
What's the next
Take a listen.
catalyst? What breaks it out?
I think the events of Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville a few weeks ago were just very catalytic and marked an inflection point for Bitcoin. You had presidential candidates, you had governors, you had senators, you had House members, you had CEOs, you had billionaire investors in the audience. Senator Lummis presented a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill, and that's our Louisiana Purchase moment. What happened there was the Overton window shift. Now it's possible to discuss nation states holding Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And if nation states are going to buy it, then it's reasonable for institutions, corporations, and individuals to buy it as well. So that was tremendous.
And former President Trump got behind the idea too. So it's a good idea. You think a strategic reserve for Bitcoin is a good idea?
Well, Thomas Jefferson purchased the Louisiana Territory for $15 million in 1803 and nearly double the size of the United States. Seward paid $7 million for Alaska. It's got $1 trillion of oil underneath it. Everybody's going to be doing business in cyberspace. Bitcoin is scarce, desirable digital property. It's a great idea to trade a little bit of currency or paper for some place that billions of people are going to be in 100 years. So yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Interesting.
That pretty much lays it out, perfectly. It's a great idea. So there's a lot of things to unpack there, and really a great answer in like a minute and 20 seconds or something like that. So to break it down even further for what he talked about, when he said, he goes, this could be nation states and they can put that on the balance sheet on top of the fact that we have central banks that are going to be eligible to put this on their balance sheets as well in less than 4 months or so. So we had talked about this last week. It's the BIS report. It was a report titled The Prudential Treatment of Crypto Asset Exposure. Essentially is the central bank for all central banks, that is the BIS. They release guidelines and operating procedures on how central banks can own crypto assets on their portfolios. When's this going to happen? Well, guidelines listed in the report are to be implemented the 1st of January 2025. Can you imagine if this actually breaks, the central banks actually end up owning a little bit of Bitcoin? I don't see why they wouldn't, just a little bit, especially as they see things. And of course, we've had 2 presidential candidates actually talk about that at the Bitcoin conference. If America's going to do it, hey, this might not be a bad thing. So there's that piece. And then as far as that Louisiana Purchase moment he talked about, This is the Louisiana Purchase. This is a big swath of land. So when he says like this is the Louisiana Purchase moment as Bitcoin becomes a reserve asset, I think he's right. And I think it doesn't have to be a massive amount, just enough to say, hey, the United States of America is going to transfer the 200,000 or whatever it was that, the Biden administration sold off. I'm not going to get into that, but they just did. We're going to put that into the Treasury, and we're going to hold that there. It's, moving from the Department of Justice over the Treasury. And we're going to hold that. That's going to buffer the US dollar. This is the biggest thing, because as time goes on, it'll be worth a heck of a lot more. So this could be Louisiana Purchase. And of course, what we talked about with Alaska being bought up with its, trillions of dollars of oil underneath. These are the things that make sense to me. However, talking about all this, I have to give you the other side, because like Mullet said in the very beginning when you weren't here, he said, are we going to go moon boy stuff, or are we going to actually talk about real things? We're going to talk about real things. And I have to give you both sides of the story. Bitcoin as a reserve asset for the United States sounds pretty good. However, this was a pretty good interview with David Lin. And this is Bianco from Bianco Research. And he talks about why this is actually a pretty bad idea. And I want you to listen to this. And I'm not going to tell you which way to go on this one. I just want you to listen and decide for yourself what you think. So let me, again, make sure you can hear this right. This might actually be a horrible idea. Maybe we're all wrong. Take a listen.
You tweeted this on July 31st in response to Donald Trump's announcement at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville. I don't understand why the Bitcoin community wants this so badly. So why is this so bad? Why is this a bad idea, Jim?
Because the Bitcoin community thinks that the government is going to borrow government bonds. They're going to sell government bonds, and they're going to raise interest rates. And then they're going to take all that money and they're going to plow it into Bitcoin. And they're never going to do or say anything to the Bitcoin community. No, we're just going to buy it. We're just going to hodl it for 50 years. And we're going to see where it goes after that. Every time the government steps in and does something like this, they put rules on it. They're going to decide what is the appropriate price for Bitcoin. And they're going to sell it when it's too high. They're going to buy it when it's too low. They're going to decide who owns it. And at the end of the day, those rules do more harm than good.
There's something to be said for that one. So we'll talk about that in the Q&A. But again, I just want to bring this to everybody's attention just to give a opposite side and play devil's advocate. So on top of that, so that would take care of that very first piece that we talked about. But on top of that, the next segment here, when Michael Saylor was asked a specific question, was, where is everything, on top of where is everything going? How do you see things progressing? And as far as normal people getting into it, I think he missed an opportunity here. I'm going to tell you why. So just take a listen to this next segment here. This is only about 30 seconds or so. And I'm going to show you where I think that we could all kind of take a cue here from the next piece.
Interesting. I mean, I feel like there's always been this ethos around Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general, that they're decentralized, digital gold. You've called it digital real estate in the past, and it's sort of a hedge against inflation. It's a hedge against government spending too much money, for example. So the idea that governments would be holding it seems like it goes against that.
It's desirable property. And if you're capitalizing a country based upon scarce desirable property, buying Manhattan, buying the United States, buying Alaska, anywhere you can do business, it's the basis of a great empire. So no, I think it's a good idea for a nation, but it's an equally good idea for a corporation, an individual, a family, or the like.
Okay, so right there, I mean, it's a good response. Not gonna say anything like that. I don't ever been on CNBC, but I think there's just one little piece that you could kind of layer into this, which is kind of like to help the normal individual who may be watching that to understand just why Bitcoin is so darn important. I mean, there's lectures and there's podcasts and there's tons of different YouTube videos which talks about that. But I think there's this one video, and I like everybody to share this. And I actually link this in the description, or you just follow me on X and you'll find these guys' videos. This is actually from River Bitcoin Exchange. And they put out this great video. It's about a minute long or so, and just explains essentially why people should be into Bitcoin itself and how they've been fooled. So again, I'm going to have you, I got the right one there. Yeah, listen to this.
We all feel that life keeps getting more expensive. Rent, food, gas, taxes, they keep going up. But why is that? It's because of a hidden tax on your money, inflation. While you are carefully managing your budget, the government is not and keeps spending more to pay off their loans. To afford all that, they create new money, which waters down the value of your money and lets you buy less in the future. In the last 100 years, the US dollar has lost over 97% of its purchasing power. Many other currencies have become worthless or disappeared. What if we had money that governments couldn't print more of? You could save for the future and build the life you have always wanted. This money is called Bitcoin. It has a fixed maximum supply that nobody can change. Bitcoin is not about getting rich quickly. It is about not getting poor slowly through inflation. Protect your future with Bitcoin and buy with confidence on River.
Yeah. So well done, River. That was really good. I have to appreciate that video. So it's one of those things where, like, as we move forward, they keep getting gaslit as far as like, well, why does the prices go? What's going on around me? And people just say those greedy corporations. And let's be honest, the corporations do a little bit to do with that as far as raising prices, but that's their God-given right as far as with capitalism. But if you take a look at it, what really has raised prices is the fact that the U.S. government and governments around the world are debasing their currency. And I think that is a big thing. And people are like, inflation, is that when the price goes up? So when you're talking to people, I think it's important for them to understand like why Bitcoin's so well. And of course, it is a finite supply. It's not scarce like gold. It's actually finite. There's only 21 million. That's the most it will ever be. And of course, it's immutable and it's transferable and it's fungible and all those great things that we'd like to talk about. So just show them that. And if they still don't get it, just show them these two pictures. Just go, look, pal, if you're going to keep buying things in dollars, the price of everything keeps going up. It's happened since America was founded, essentially. But if you buy everything in Bitcoin, the price goes down. I can't make it simpler than that. If you want to make it even clearer than this, as far as like houses, 2016, it cost 664 Bitcoin for the average price of a house, which was $288,000. Right now, it's going to cost you 6.6, and the average price of a house is $434,700. So just show them this, and maybe they'll get it to their thick heads. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that little piece in the comments section. I went a little on a rant there. And let's finish up here with Michael. So the last thing he says is, and it's a pretty good question. The moderator or the host asked Michael Saylor, like, well, where's MicroStrategy going? Because it seems like it's not really even the original foundation or the original company of what it was. So how do you guys keep doing this? Because you're going to keep buying. And I liked his answer. So just take a listen to this. This starts at, whoops, I'm going to fast forward to 352. And this will be the last piece, about a minute or so. Just take a listen.
Debt to do that in recent months. Filed last week to sell more shares. How does this strategy continue to play out?
MicroStrategy is a Bitcoin development company. We're an operating firm, and that means we have some advantages over a trust company. We've got permanent capital. We can generate cash flows. We've got operating flexibility. Our shareholders want more Bitcoin per share. They think if we get more Bitcoin per share, that's creating shareholder value. That means we're pursuing BTC yield. Whenever we can do a capital markets transaction that's accretive and generates more Bitcoin per share, we'll do it. We have the ability to sell equity into the market at a premium to net asset value. We have the ability to issue convertible bonds. We have the ability to generate operating cash flow. We're just going to keep generating more Bitcoin per share any way we possibly can by selling the volatility of the asset class and then sweeping it into the underlying asset.
Founded as an enterprise software company, business intelligence, MicroStrategy. That business has enabled the build out of this Bitcoin book. Can the core business continue to generate enough cash flow to support the business for Bitcoin, or support Bitcoin and the business there, given the fact that revenue has been stagnating?
The business is stable and it is a cash cow, and we have a lot more room to issue debt based upon that cash flow. But we've also got options like convertible bonds and equity and the like, and some other.
Great. And pretty much it. So if you didn't think MicroStrategy was essentially a proxy for Bitcoin, there you go. that's what they're going with, and I can appreciate what's happening there in MicroStrategy. So that was it. Just want to bring this to everybody's attention. Is as far as like to just expand the horizon of how people understand Bitcoin and where things are going after that big crash. But that is it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is time sensitive. Now, if you'd like to ask some questions, I'll try to answer them to the best of my abilities, and we'll go from there. But if we got to take off, take off. Thanks so much for stopping by. And again, congratulations for sticking around after that crash. I know that wasn't easy. When you see 30% go down, you hear all the stories of World War III. You maybe hear about a story about the fourth turning. You may hear about that the recession is imminent. And of course, everything is doom and gloom. But you stuck around and you get rewarded. That's it for today. All right, everybody. Now let's jump a little Q&A and we'll get from there. Someone says, you need to clean that pool. It's a green screen. So it'll be okay. Chaotic Trader, thank you, Rob. You're welcome. Let's see. After paying the mortgages, I can understand that. Very so. My bank kicked me out. I've been hearing more and more about this. Banks shutting off accounts. I don't know if that's like Operation Choke Point 3.0 now or whatever. Let's see. Welcome, Amy. Hey, Coder. Oops, went the wrong way. Okay. What's the over-under of Iran launching an attack this weekend so we can go down another 20%? I don't know. But that would be interesting. Again, like when people say like, okay, I know where things are going, this level of support. How do you know, right? I mean, let's say like Daniel he is right. And Iran launches missiles to Israel and they strike. And then, of course, there's strong language on both sides. And we start to hear about World War III. Market's probably not going to respect your support levels. And then down it goes. So for me, I just go, I don't know what's going to happen. I only have this small sphere of control. I'll just deal with this sphere and see what happens after that. Let's hope not. Hopefully cooler heads will prevail. Rob's my dad in his mom's basement with a green screen. Exactly. Matthias says, have you watched DB Crypto's video on Solana? Yeah, it was long, but it's interesting. And I know, like, I posted that on X, my account. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a video on Solana, and this gentleman, DB Crypto, put it out there. And of course, people who have Solana bags, myself, hated it because they're like, hey, you're talking about my bags. And the other ones that are like, hate Solana, or they are other sides, or maybe they're just neutral. They're like, that's right. When I watched it, my impression was this. There are some parts that are accurate, just like everything else out there. There's some parts that were pretty wrong. Just the big takeaways are this. As far as like the reporting of TPS and maybe TVL and just on-chain analysis and transactions, there's probably some fluctuations and some things that were not reported accurately and maybe a little shenanigans going on. On top of that, the other big thing was the rate of inflation and how the rate of inflation is quite high considering on other crypto assets. Some people say, well, Ethereum, it's supposed to be sound money and it's this and that, but it fluctuates. I get it, right? But with Solana, there is a rate of inflation. We can't deny that. And I can't say that the chain is perfect. Even the Solana Foundation won't say it's perfect because it's still in beta. So when I took a look at this and I thought to myself, okay, there's that negative, that negative, that negative. But then I thought to myself, how many other crypto products are perfect? How many are like on the straight and narrow, haven't lied, have done everything by the book and everything's good? I'm going to tell you right now, I've been in business for quite some time. And if you've been in business as well as you know this, which is not everybody tells the exact 100% truth going forward. The only thing you can take a look at is just say like, hopefully they give you the fair amount of information that you can make a reasonable amount of a decision and move forward. Me personally, after I watched that video, I didn't sell any more Solana. I didn't, purchase anymore. I'm just like, we'll see what happens. So on this one, I'm gonna let it all play out. Last thing I will say is this, and I compared this to Voyager. And the reason I do is because Voyager was a good platform. Unfortunately, like all businesses, they make a stupid mistake, and any project out there can make a massive, stupid mistake and be wiped off this planet. That's what happened with Voyager. Uncollateralized loan to Three Arrows Capital, $640 million or so. If they would have done a collateralized loan, they would have a much better place, and they might have actually made it out and would have still been here. But since they made that stupid mistake, they're gone. And a lot of other companies, a lot of other crypto products will make stupid mistakes, and they'll be gone too. So does that mean that I know which one's going to make it? No. That's why I diversify. So there's my answer for that. That's a long one. Did Polymarket predict the Harris VP pick? Don't know. I think I don't know if they did, but I didn't see this one coming with walls. So we'll see how that works out. The thing on this channel, I don't like to get political because you guys are bombarded every day, every minute, every hour with political references and comments and things like that. When you come to my channel, I'd like you just to relax and just hear about crypto and digital assets. That's about it. Let's see. I wish 9 months for altcoin season. I got to agree with Joshua. I missed the dip. Probably couldn't find a taker for my kidney. Redundant organs. You don't need both of those. But yeah, maybe so many are selling, you don't need to. No notifications. What? YouTube didn't notify you that I was on? Well, that's normal. When alt season? I don't know. But I can tell you who's pretty happy today. That would be Ben Cohen over at End of the Cryptoverse. He pretty much was like, look, it's not going to happen until this and this and this and this and this and this. Bitcoin dominance and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure Ben's like, shoo. I don't think he's like ecstatic that the market went down, but it's got to feel good when he's like, warning people and people are like, screw you, Cohen. I don't want to hear your nonsense. And they don't want to listen to him. I'm just trying to I know Ben, and he's just trying to do the best he possibly can and warn people because he doesn't want them to get screwed over like he got screwed over. Same thing with me. Why I have my rules underneath, take everything off the exchanges. So it's just, I'm happy for him because, he said it's going to be rocky. Altcoin season isn't here. People said it was, and there's nuances to it. I get it. But right now, Bitcoin dominance, I think almost at 58%. I think it's probably down now, but hey, no one's going to be 100%. What are you going to do? Rob, how much do you pay in rent in your mom's basement? She doesn't charge me too much. She's a very sweet lady, so not too bad. The green seed looks real. It does look real, right? Got that fan moving. Sometimes my dog will walk through. It's crazy. Fiverr, they do good work. Can you imagine what can be? It has to be unburdened by what has been. That's the thing. Sorry. Political reference, my fault. Hey guys, also watching on YouTube. Hello, Vision. Let's see. Non-crypto, non-political question. I've been watching the Olympics. I have. Just had lunch with my wife this afternoon. We were at Classico here in El Paso, great place. And soccer was on. And I was like, of all the sports, I know if you're not from America, you're booing me right now, but soccer's boring. I'm from America. I just don't get it. And someone's going to tell me why I'm wrong. You're probably right. I'm just not cultured enough. Yeah, here we go. Tayway says, you guys can't tell me you didn't make any money on alts last week. I did. It's true. But risk to reward, it was very risky, quite honestly. And I did. The question is, here's the next question. Well, Ben was right in the long run, but you would have missed out on a lot of gains. You can sell. True. And that last 4 words were what I was going to talk about. If you can sell. How many of us, you don't have to raise your hand because I know nobody likes to talk about this. How many of us have round-tripped altcoin after altcoin after altcoin? How many of us have rode it all the way up and all the way down? How many of us said, I'm going to take profits, but in the back of your head said, well, if it did a 2x, it can do a 4x. A lot of us. So you don't lose money unless you sell. Those are called unrealized losses. And you don't gain anything unless you sell. Those are called unrealized gains. So I understand that, yes, it looks good on paper or in your ledger or in your Tangent wallet, but it doesn't mean a thing unless you sell at some point. So just letting you guys know, that's why I have the rules. All right. Ooh, not on purpose. Stake. That's pretty good. Oh, good news. Also, Tangent wallet. If you'd like to buy one, they don't pay me, but it is an affiliate link. And you can click on it or not. If you do click on it, 10% off. But if you hate affiliate links, you don't have to. You just go right to Tangent. So on their roadmap they just released a couple of days ago, they are going to be doing native staking in either August or September, this month or September. Meaning, before you had to use Wallet Connect to bridge it to stake your Ethereum, to stake your Solana, stake your Cardano, whatever. Now, you're going to be able to stake it within your cold storage device, air gapped between you and the internet and potential hacks. When that happens, I'm going to stake a boatload of my crypto that is just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. I cannot wait. So we'll see. I'm very happy about that. Uzi says, who taught you the 5 rules? Well, let me bring something up and I'll show you. These 5 rules, Uzi, right underneath here. You know who taught me these 5 rules? Celsius helped a lot. Voyager did. Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, BlockFi. My overall portfolio, or lack of me in the ability to sell, and all the opportunities I missed along the way. That's what taught me the rules. And the rules are very simple. It's all gone. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. For some people, they can roll out of bed and go, you know what? I'm going to put 100,000 on tomato coin, and they don't break a sweat. For you, you might roll out of bed and go, can I part with this $20 and put it into Bitcoin? And if it causes you to a cold sweat, you're not ready. So whatever you think that you want to invest, just on your mind go, okay, when I invest this, especially in a risky asset like crypto and digital assets, it could be all gone. If I'm okay with that, I'm good. I can invest. So that's the first rule. The second rule is everything's a scam until proven otherwise. If you follow this rule, you're going to do a hell of a lot better than most people. The third rule, which was the Voyager, Celsius, FTX, and BlockFi, don't leave things on exchanges. That's a fool's errand. I should have learned my lesson from Mt. Gox, and I didn't. And I learned the hard way with Voyager and Celsius. That's why I'm always talking about Tangent Wallet. So take it off the exchanges. The fourth rule, don't use leverage. I get messages every week about people losing their life savings. I can't help you. I can lead you to water, but I can't make you drink. The last one is take profits. Nobody ever went broke taking profits. So those I just made up after hard times and screw ups on me. You learn from mistakes. It doesn't have to be your mistakes. Let it be my mistake. Let me screw up. And you can say, I'm not going to do what Rob did. That's right. Together we stand, divided we fall. Sergi says, which alt are you most bullish on right now except ton? That's a good question. So the ton will be the first one. Alt, right now, risk to reward. Like, I'll tell you what I bought yesterday. I bought Bitcoin and ton. So, but what else do I hold as far as altcoins? I hold over 70 different altcoins. And that's going from altcoin, blue chip altcoin, Ethereum, all the way down to things you probably have never heard of in your life. I'm not really bullish too much on any one state. It doesn't really move the needle too much. I like to see how things are progressing, but right now, this is the time when things are building. So we'll see. I like Solana, I like Cardano, I like Avalanche, I like Chainlink, even though Chainlink took a big dump. I like Near Protocol, those types of things. I like Internet Computer Protocol. I like Caspa. I mean, you name it, I probably own it. Question is, which ones are going to be the fastest? Grades, good. Can you change the background? Sure. Let's see. How do I do this? There's a brick wall. Ah, nice, huh? There's a... There you go. There's another one. Here's a really crappy one. Here's in Puerto Rico. And there's the original one. So, yeah, green screen. I like this one. Daniel says he's all in Solana or regret it 6 months from now. I don't know, Daniel. All in seems pretty dangerous. But you can do that. David said I was burned as well. It happens. Press O'Neill says, I don't get why ADA has not taken off. My understanding that they only self-custody staking coin, plus have proved they can't be hacked, which is great, let's be honest. A lot of people, myself included, entrepreneurs, we like to just throw things at the wall, see what sticks. And that's a great strategy if you're dealing with your own money. But when you're dealing with billions and billions of dollars, it probably would behoove you to be a little bit safer. That's what Cardano is there for. Unfortunately, on the other side, as far as like, partnerships and moving forward, it's been a little bit slow, but they've been very tedious. So we'll see which one wins. Which one's going to win? Is it going to be the hare or the tortoise? I have both. So we'll see. Which coins are you staking? Oh, all of them. Every single one that's in my Tangent wallet. Let me see. I'll show you. Okay. Solana. Tencoin. Bonk, which I'm actually doing on bonkrewards.com right now. Pith, I don't know if I can do that. Let's see. Illuvium, already doing. Injective, Immunolex, if I can. Let's see. Aave, Arbitrum. I don't know if I can do Decentraland or not. They say Tension Token, I can't. Gala is a piece of trash, but whatever. Sorry. Cornucopias, if I can do it. Near. Avalanche, I'm already doing it. And some other one. Let's see. Tenset, I can't do that one. BNB, I don't think I can do that. Caspa, Gensokishi, interesting. Farcana, Cosmos, yeah. Arbitrum again. Polkadot, XRP, can't do. Stellar. A bunch of other ones down here. Well, yeah. So now you know. Whatever I can. Whatever I can. Doug says, Rob, are you bitter towards Voyager? News to me. No. No, I'm not bitter for me. I'm bitter for you guys because I talked about Voyager and I thought it was a great company. It's just they made these ridiculous moves. And I will tell you this. Gary Gensler is right on one aspect, which is if you have the appropriate notifications, the appropriate disclosures, then you can make a more informed decision. The only reason that I knew that Voyager was going to collapse is because they were a publicly traded company. I believe it was Canada. And they put out documents 2 weeks before they collapsed. And on one of the spreadsheets, it said, uncollateralized loan, $640 million. There's a link in the description, actually, where I talk, and it's the timeline of Voyager and Celsius. It's in every one of my videos. And it's all the videos that I put out where I said, it's going to collapse, get out. On Celsius, I did the day of, which is not enough time. But on Voyager, I did 2 weeks before. And I said, you should not have anything on there. You can still use it if you want, but you've got to take your money off and your crypto off. And the only reason I knew that was because it was a publicly traded company. And if we didn't, I would never have gotten people out. I remember, here's a story. Hopefully Steven's wife is not listening to this. But my friend Steven over in Puerto Rico owns the San Juan Smokehouse. He had the majority of his funds from his businesses in Voyager because he was getting this like ridiculous 8% or 6% APY for his stablecoin USDC. So he's like, why not? And when I put the video out, he called me or texted me. He said, hey, is this real? Should I take this out? I go, just what I said in the video. You shouldn't have anything on there. You can still use it, but take everything off. He's like, okay, thanks. And he took everything off and he saved himself. If not, I think his business would have went belly up. Little lesson to be aware of. So yeah, there is one positive note, which was yesterday, my friend George sent me a message, and I saw this on X as well. If you're not aware, check your mailbox. If you have had Voyager, you probably got to check in the mail. I got to go check the mailbox myself because apparently they're doing more distributions because they were able to get money from back from Three Arrows Capital. So it's not the whole thing. And of course, the valuation is much inflated from when they say it was, because it's your crypto, not digital assets, or not money. So you got a little money in the mail. Congratulations. Sorry I even went that route. Mike says, Rob, do you think the Fed will lower rate 50 basis points in September? I think they have to now at this point. The real question is how much are they going to start printing money as far as quantitative easing? If we take a look at the M2 money supply, which we've done the last 3 days, I'm not going to do it again. If you take a look at the M2 money supply, America's, we turned that sucker back on 3-4 months ago, and the last data point we have is in June. I think we're looking at 41 trillion. I can't be right. 22 trillion or somewhere around there. I got to look again. We're printing again. And all that means is that when, just like we saw with that video with River Financial, U.S. government prints money, injects it into the marketplace or into the markets. It gets filtered down. It's called I always say Cantillon effect. Some people say the Cantillon effect. What it means is when the money gets printed out, it goes to who? It goes to banks. banks goes to who? Their most precious and valued customers who usually have a lot of money. And of course, it goes to them. They're able to buy assets. Then finally, that trickles down to us, the plebs, and then we pay high price for assets that would have been much cheaper beforehand when all this money was actually first injected. That's going to keep happening. That's going to happen all the way, I think, through 2025 until we see a massive we're either going to see a world war or we're going to see a massive recession / depression. You cannot reset that much money. Right now, we have in the United States, it's, I think, bordering almost at $45 trillion in debt. So, yeah. Well, that was a bummer. Sorry. Let's see. That statement is great. See, let's just focus on Michael Saylor. That's better. Ed says, do you have a list of all those 70 alts? Ed, you come to Puerto Rico, meet me at the San Juan Smokehouse, buy me some beers. I'll tell you all the different things I know. But I don't, actually. The Malt's got a good point. When is Michael Saylor not bullish? It's true. Cass, Tip Top. What is the lowest cap altcoin that you own? I don't know what it is, but I can tell you where it is. And it's in my MetaMask wallet. And the reason it's in my MetaMask wallet, because it is not supported in my cold storage devices, which means if it's not supported in my cold storage devices, it's on a hot wallet like MetaMask. And what does that mean? That means I'm open to getting hacked. So do you think that I really care about that low cap altcoin? I don't. I wish I could tell you what it was, but it's something I guarantee you don't even know what it is. You and I don't even know. Sometimes I like to gamble. Ed says, Rob, you only stake tokens to your liquidity pools as well. I don't do the LP stuff. Maybe I should get into that at some point. I just don't like the hassles, but I should do it. At least some type of some degen farming. Impossible to keep up with 70 coins. Press, you were right. That's why at a specific point in time, I'm going to be selling 80% of all my crypto. And I can guarantee some of those low cappers are going to be gone. There's a video in the description where I talk about what those indicators are. Watch that video. When that happens, I will do a video. I will let you know when I'm selling everything, and I will step down from this channel. And I won't see you again until the bear market comes. Good times. Daniel says, your accountant better get a nice bonus from you. So my accountant is in Puerto Rico. She's a great individual, good company. Hates it when I send all the information. But thankfully, there's a service I use called Coin Ledger. And for the last 3 years, I've used Coin Ledger to track everything. And that's across 10 separate wallets, 4 bank accounts, and some nonsense decentralized exchanges. And it works every single time. So every time we get around tax season, I always talk about Coin Ledger, and we'll probably do it again next year. So she doesn't hate me that much because those reporting are pretty damn accurate, and it makes things a lot easier. But it's a good question. Elizabeth Warren needs to be quiet. No, let her talk. We'll see what happens. I find Elizabeth Warren quite charming sometimes, actually. She's quite the politician. See, I don't really want to talk about politics, but if I'm going to talk about it, I'll say something positive then. Let's see. Ed says, who tipped you off about the Voyager news? You were at a conference and heard them. No. So that was the Celsius news. And I'm going to tell you who told me about Celsius. It was multiple people. I was at the conference. It was a consensus in Austin, Texas. This was 2022. And I was sitting there with Simon Yu, who is the CEO of StormX. I don't know if you guys remember the project called StormX. It used to be big, doing absolutely nothing now. And he said, hey, man, he goes, a lot of people are talking to me about Celsius, about their insolvent. I go, what? That's crazy. I don't believe you. He's like, yeah. And he told me some names. I'm like, okay, sounds pretty good. And then I was talking to the guy. Now, this is funny. I've never told this story, actually. I was talking to the guys at Voyager, and we were sitting there. And this is the craziest thing. The guys from Voyager told me the same thing about Celsius. And they're like, yeah, they did this crazy stuff, and they did uncollateralized loans. We don't do that here. Isn't that funny? I learned about Celsius from Voyager. Who'd have thunk it? And then I drove back from Austin to El Paso, and I did a video of that next day. And then it collapsed. Travel 11, did you take profits? That's the good question. I took profits, and I did this. You can check my X account. I was telling this in March and May, but that was because I had to buy properties. It wasn't because I'm some super genius. It was just because great opportunities come around only so often. And a couple of these properties came up, and I'm like, man, these are really great. A multi-unit facility that's split off as apartments and do short and long-term rentals, 4 blocks from the beach. I mean, come on. I'm not going to give that up. And super low price. Yeah. But I'm still down on today I'm down on the portfolio. So what are you going to do? I mean, some cryptos, on all of them. Nice. Neo Patriot says, I'm about to take a full remote job move to Colombia. I heard it's awesome there. Nas can tell you. He just got back, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Tayway says, print enough for a steady 2% inflation. Problem was COVID stimulus mostly. Yeah, there's a lot of, it went straight up into the line, that's for sure. But we did keep printing quite a bit after that. But you are correct, Ty. It was mostly the COVID. Ugh. I got screwed by because I checked out. That's the thing that sucks about the markets. You got to be on top of it, especially now. Yeah, CoinLedger is integrated with Ledger cold storage, exactly. It was actually very easy to set up with my Tangent Wallet. You just put in your public wallet address and it just downloads everything. It's pretty cool. When will ADA 10x? So it will 10x between tomorrow and 2032. Actually, I can't even say when it'll 10x. I don't even know it'll 10x. I sure hope so, though. Simon is a good guy. Let's send him a gift. How's StormX doing? It's a good question. Let's take a look. I don't even think it's in the top 500 anymore. No, I was incorrect. It is ranked 479th. Let's see. 7 days, 1 month. No. Went from a nickel to, no, it's not right. Half a cent to a penny. Hey, it doubled in a month. Wow. I don't know why. 3 months, 1 year. Okay, that sounds more like it. So yeah, that's StormX for you right there in a nutshell. Let's see. If someone gives Senator Warren milk and cookies, you think she'll finally cheer about Bitcoin? I doubt it very much. If you hate Bitcoin, you hate Bitcoin. Puerto Rico is on my radar. How's your life there? It's great. I got to tell you, the first year I didn't like it that much. But every year that I go, or that I'm there, every year that I'm there, it's like the best place ever. It just is. So I did 2 videos on Puerto Rico. And the time to think about that is right now. So watch those 2 videos. One is my initial response when I got there, and one was a year later. And I tell you all the screw-ups that I did and how to avoid those. And I actually give you my real estate agent's information, my lawyer's information, and the CPA that I work with. So check that video out if you're looking to move to Puerto Rico. And that'd be great because need more friends around. It's always nice. Ed says, looks like a rug pull chart, but doesn't all last year's pretty much. Yeah. 60K tomorrow, Jim Craven, perhaps. Oh, I didn't know that. Record volume for Bitcoin yesterday, 109 billion volume. Well, that's volume. That wasn't depreciation. But I mean, it did great. I mean, you're right. You're right, Josh. You're right. I mean, what did we go up? In 1 day, almost 6%. But again, you look at that 7 day and you're like, wow, 14.1% down for the 7 day. That's pretty bad. Again, it's not so much about like, oh, I went down 50% and I gained 50%. I mean, if you keep going down 50%, doing 50-50s or 10s and 10s, you'll eventually get almost to zero. That's just how it goes. So yesterday was brutal. or it was the best thing of all time, depending if you bought and are dollar cost averaging. Crypto, my man James is talking about this. Mr. 100 bought 2,000 Bitcoin yesterday. It's pretty good. See, somebody's buying, and usually the ones that are buying are the ones that I don't like to say big money or smart money. Let's just say big money. The ones that can just throw money around. If they bought 2,000 Bitcoin yesterday, that's a lot of dough. Catacombs, what's the best area to move in Puerto Rico? In your opinion, whoever lives near? I don't know where that is. He seems to be doing well. We live in Guaynabo. I like Guaynabo. You can go farther into the isla, into the islands, but I like that. I don't. San Juan itself is kind of more touristy, so I'm not a big fan of that area. But just depends. There's a lot of different areas. Watch the video and then just call the agent. He and she will tell you, and they'll tell you what's available. Josh says, Crypto. Chris thinks this is all healthy corrections for Bitcoin. Yeah, maybe. I'll leave you with this. What Rob is really saying is that he's slowly liking Mofongo. That is probably for me the worst part of Puerto Rico. And this is the only part that will probably get clipped. Yeah, that's about it. Anyhow, I think we're going to stagnate here, guys. Again, congratulations. Let's get out of here. So everybody, on your way out, if you could hit the like button, that'd be great. Subscribe if you want to. Tomorrow, roughly the same time, but then on Thursday, it'll be NFA Live with me. I know Guy from Coin Bureau will be there. We're going to get a special guest. So I'll let you guys know who that is. That'll be Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. Pacific. That's it for today. Thanks so much, everybody. I like doing these Q&As. I appreciate you, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Adios.